During the course of my career and while traveling around the world, I've been asked countless questions, some funny, some interesting, and some super valid. One of those questions is, what happens to a woman's vagina if she does not have sex over a long period of time? Now, in the last video, I carefully highlighted 10 benefits of sex, especially for men. But what happens to a woman's VJ if it is not engaged sexually for ages? It is pertinent at this point to state that this channel is not for sexual advocacy, and whatever you chose for the frequency of sex you have is exactly okay. If you chose celibacy, that's perfectly acceptable. If you chose to remain a virgin, that's very okay too. If you chose to have sex very often, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty convinced at this point that if you are watching this video, you already know what comes with abstinence. You get zero sexually transmitted infections, literally, and you stand zero risk of getting pregnant. Right before we delve into what happens to your vagina if you don't have sex for a long time, let me quickly debunk some crazy myths I've heard along the years concerning celibacy. Number 1. Your hymen will not regrow. I've heard people say severally that if you stay away from sex long enough, you might become a virgin again. But with my years in medical school and my years in real life practice, I can clearly tell every woman here. Oh wait, is there a man around here? I can tell you that it is not true. When you lost your virginity, you lost it. The moment you cease being a virgin, you cease being a virgin. The last myth I want to debunk is, you do not lose your vagina by staying away from sex. Okay? You're not going to lose it. Anybody promoting the notion that you will lose it is just another scaremonger encouraging baseless arguments. Now to the multi-million-dollar question why you clicked on this video. What happens to your vagina when you don't actively engage in sex over a long period of time? Well, first of all, your vagina becomes less elastic, and by that I mean it will not be as stretchy as it would have been had you engaged in sex regularly. Let me teach you something cool. If you pinch the skin around any of your thighs, it should return back to normal within 3 seconds. That means it is quite elastic. With this understanding of vaginal elasticity in mind, if you stay away from sex for long, your vagina finds it hard to stay within the elasticity range it would have been if it were being used. Another example of elasticity is the rubber band. I'm sure you know what I mean. Now, the time it will take to reach this point depends on the person and how long the woman has stayed away from sex for. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year. Also, age can play a major role as to how elastic your vagina is or stays. The second thing that happens to your vagina after a long period of not having sex is vaginal tightness. Mind you, for a lot of people, this can vary largely due to personal differences. But the period in which a person is sexually active and when she is not may easily tell on the tightness of the vagina. The third impact of overdue celibacy on a woman's privates is reasonable discomfort the next time she tries to have sex again. Now you may be asking, what do I do then? Well, 2 tips for you. Giving more attention to foreplay can generally assist a great deal to naturally lubricate you. Secondly, using a good lubricant can be of immense help as well. Before anything else, we really wish to say a big thank you for all the love. We see that people really enjoyed all the last videos. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and if you are yet to do that, please finger the like button and subscribe while we bring you hot medical tips. Thank you. Another notable thing that happens when you abstain from sex after a long time is that it usually takes more for arousal to take place. The speed at which a woman's body is prepared to take the D or the penis is rather hampered. More has to be done. This shouldn't come as a surprise because the hormones responsible for deep sexual pleasure have been largely kept at bay for so long, and this is their little way of saying, hey, if you want me, you've got to work a little bit harder this time. The remaining 2 things that are most likely bound to happen when you don't have sex for a long time are actually psychological. One of them is anxiety. You know that feeling you get when you're about to have sex once again after a really long time? That's perfectly normal. Many people have it, especially very single young ladies in their early 20s. I give you an analogy. Let's say you finish driving school, but you don't drive again for ages. And then one day you decide to get right behind the wheels one more time. There's very high possibility of having some kind of anxiety. The same happens with sex too. You may actually catch yourself anxious trying to have sex again after a really long time. The last thing for you today on the healthy way list is significant change in libido. Your level of libido when you are sexually active versus when you are not are quite different. Can you guess the most interesting part? It's different for everyone. For some women, staying away from sex for long can make them less interested in sex but more interested in many other things. While for others, the same time of abstinence from sex can highly increase their libido, so much so that they may be willing to go down with people they may normally not want to go down with. In fact, for such people, they may lose interest in work and even become less sociable until their sexual need is met and their urge duly fulfilled. In conclusion, if you feel deep and crazy pain during sex, whether during the period of being sexually active or having sex after a really long time of celibacy, please promptly meet your gynecologist. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. We love you.